Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how you can cut this stylish conical overbust, and if this sounds like something you would love to learn, do well to watch to the end of the video, like, share and subscribe. So without further ado, let's jump right into the main video. I've already gone ahead to rule out the necessary lines we need for this tutorial. From my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10 inches, to my under bust, which is 13, to my waist in front, which is 16.5 inches. Then from the waistline I added 7 inches. So I've already gone ahead to label them, as you can see there. The next thing is to take our measurement. So I'm going to come here to take my shoulder measurement divided by 2. At that point I came down by 1 inch from my shoulder slope, but I'm going to come here to mark 3 inches from my neck width. I'm going to connect from my shoulder slope into the neck width like so. Then the next thing, I'm going to come here to mark my arm length. How to get your arm length? Divide your bust by 6, then add 1.5 inches. So I got 7, and I'm going to extend that line across this way. Then to get a straight line, I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement here. Then I'm going to connect from that shoulder slope into the shoulder measurement here. So we are going to label this line the chest line. I'm going to come to the arm length here to divide it into 2 equal halves to get the midpoint, and the midpoint of 7 is 3.5. At that point I'll go in by half an inch. Then I'll come to the chest line, divide my bust circumference by 4. I'll mark it right here. Then I'll connect this point together like this to form my armhole. The next thing is to mark out our darts. To mark out your dart, you divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2. My nipple to nipple measurement is 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. I'm going to mark the 3.5 on all these lines. I'll take it all the way to the base, and I'm going to use a straight line to connect the point this way. So this is the center front and this is our side front here. Then I'm going to come to the under bust line. I'm going to mark 1 inch on both sides of this straight line. If you're a plus size, you can mark 1 inch on the center front and 1.5 on the side front. Then I'm going to mark 0.5 on the waistline. Then from the bust line I'm going to come down by 1 inch from the bust line. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect this point with my curve rule. So I'm going to take this line all the way to the midpoint of our armhole with my curve rule this way. So we are going to tighten this place. I'm going to come down from that line by 1 inch here, and I'm going to connect the 1 inch back into the line like so. So this 1 inch we took here, I'm going to replace it here so we don't have any shortage when we are sewing. 1 inch we took here for that, I'm going to replace it on the chest line also, and I'm going to reconnect my armhole this way. The next thing is to impute our round body measurement. I've already marked my bust line. I'll come to the under bust line, mark my under bust, replace the 2 inch for that. I'll come to the waistline, mark my waist measurement divided by 4. This that here, I'm going to replace it also. Then I'm going to come to the hip line, mark my hip circumference divided by 4. You can add 1 inch for ease on the hip line if you want. Then I'll connect my line this way. So the next thing, I'm going to come up by 3.5 inches from the chest line. This is where I want my top to start from. You can decide to do 4 or lesser than 4 inches and connect it back into the armhole. Then I'm going to come here to mark my bust dart, and this is the difference you have from your shoulder to your waist in front and back, and the difference is 1.5 inches. So I came down by 1.5 inches from the bust line, then I connected it back into the dart leg. I'll go ahead and outline my lines this way. The next thing, I'm going to come off from the hip line by 1.5 inches, and I'm going to connect it back into the dart leg this way with my curve rule, and this is basically it. I'll just go ahead and outline my line so that it's more visible for us to see. And this is basically it for the front. It's a very simple tutorial. I'll go ahead and cut this out. So when cutting your paper out, at that bust area, leave like 1 inch allowance there. So when you close your dart and you have any distorted line, you can adjust your line later. So after cutting this, I transfer the bust dart into the other piece there because my paper is on fold, and I just trace it out this way. The next thing I'm going to do right now is to close down my dart. So I'm going to cut my dart out this way, and I'll close it. You see why I say you should leave like 1 inch allowance there? You see that my lines are not aligning, or is not aligning, so I'm just going to retrace this line here so we don't have any shortage, and I'm going to cut the remaining part out like this. I'll do the same thing to the other piece. I'm going to cut the excess. I'll close my dart and then cut out the excess like this. And this is what we have for the front. You can see we have both the side because the paper is on fold, and this is a complete front pattern. I'm going to keep this aside so that we can work on the back. So I've already gone ahead to rule out the necessary lines we need for the back. I have my zipper allowance of 1.5 inches. I have my bust point, my shoulder to my waist at the back, and then my top length. Then I'm going to come to the shoulder line here, divide my shoulder by 2, just the way we did on the front pattern. Then I'm going to come down at that point by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Then I'm going to mark my neck width of 3 inches here. I'll connect from my shoulder slope into the neck. Please make sure all your measurements are taken after the zipper allowance. I'm going to come down to mark 1 inch for my neck depth, though we don't need this, it's just a guide. And then the next thing is to mark our arm length. I'm going to come down from my shoulder slope to mark my arm length. You know how to mark your arm length. Divide your bust by 6, then add 1.5 inches. I'm going to rule that point across, basically repeating what we did on the front pattern. So I'm going to come here to mark my shoulder measurement here to get a straight line as well. I'm going to connect from the shoulder slope into that point. I'll come here to mark the midpoint of my arm length here. I'll go in by 1/2 inch there. I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4 here on the chest line. Then I'll connect the points together to form my armhole. Please, all your measurements should be taken after the zipper allowance. Don't take your measurement from the zipper allowance. So the next thing is to mark our dart. And to mark your dart, you divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2, and mine is 3.5 divided by 2. I'm going to mark it on all the lines, all the way to the top length. And then I'll use a straight line to connect all these points together. On the waistline, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch on both sides of our dart leg, and I'm going to come down by 1 inch from the chest line. Then I'll connect my dart. So the next thing is to impute our round body measurement. I've already marked my bust. I'll come to the waistline and mark my waist measurement. I forgot to mention earlier, you can snatch your waist by 1 inch. I mean, you can remove 1 inch from your waist measurement so that you have that snatched look. You see from the thumbnail how snatched the top is. So if you want that, you can remove 1 inch from your waist measurement. But if you don't want yours snatched, you can go ahead and use your normal waist measurement. You don't need to reduce 1 inch from the measurement. So I'll just connect all the points together. So for the back, I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch from the chest line, and I'm just going to connect from there into the armhole. This is how I want the back. You can actually leave it the way it is if you don't want that curve effect at that area. Then from the hip line, I'll come up by 1.5 inches and then connect just the way we did for the front. I'll go ahead and outline my lines like this. Then I'll come to the waistline. I'm going to mark 1/2 inch here on the waistline and slat it up and down. This is to prevent our zip from bulging after sewing. And I'm going to cut this part I just marked. We're going to cut it out, and this is basically it for the back. I'll just outline the line for us to see, and this is it. I'll go ahead and cut it out. This is basically it for the back. So if you have watched to this point and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do wait to hit on the subscribe button. Subscription is totally free, and do wait to comment as well so that algorithm can recommend this video to more people. And this is all we have for today. Thank you, and see you in the next video. Bye.